You are the ace of space. Welcome to the show. Let's first of all look at a story that the mainstream media covered this week. I don't know how major it is, but a big solar flare heading towards Earth.
Yeah, I don't know how major it is either, really. Sort of having a Google around about it. There was one, I quote here, that called it a catastrophic Class X flare,
Yeah.
and in brackets, in inverted commas, most satellites will be out of commission by April.
Wow.
Well, I don't know how accurate that is. I mean, I don't think there's some disastrous event coming for us. I mean, these solar flares, they happen reasonably regularly, and we are approaching solar maximum, which will be in 2013, which is when there's the most activity on the sun, so there's the most solar flares and things.
Yeah. Now, they say this is the biggest one in 4 years, so there was a big one this size sort of 4 years ago. But what I want to know is how long it takes. So once it's observed, how long does it take to reach Earth? Is it not the speed of light?
Well, you can see it. You can see it basically straight away, or 8 minutes after it happens, which is the speed of light.
Yeah.
But you've got two things coming out of the sun. You've got the radiation which travels there at the speed of light, so we can see it. But then after that, you've got a wave of particles which are traveling somewhere slightly below the speed of light, but that ends up taking a couple of days to get here.
Okay.
So we've got a bit of warning, and that's quite important too for the future of space travel. So if people do travel between planets in spacecraft, then that radiation that travels ahead of these events would give a warning that there's going to be a package of dangerous particles following along. So if they had some sort of anti-radiation room, they'd have warning to get into it.
So it's been a couple of days, so effectively that radiation should have reached the Earth by now.
Yeah, and I guess all the satellites haven't been taken out, otherwise we wouldn't be talking now.
Yeah.
But it's not surprising that it's the biggest solar flare in 4 years. That's because it's been solar minimum, and we're coming into solar maximum, so the sun's picking up all the time, so it's quite normal for them to be getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. What it does mean is that there'll be more chance of seeing aurora, so if anyone's listening from down sort of Invercargill, Otago way, head out tonight, and you've got a better chance of seeing an aurora.
Easier in the winter, though, right?
Perhaps because it gets darker earlier.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on from that to some Kiwi news, where a local astronomer has made a wee bit of a discovery.
Yeah, so a New Zealand astronomer named Mary Williams, who's working with an international team in Germany, has discovered a dwarf galaxy that's being eaten up by our galaxy.
Oh.
So just some background on this. There's these two things you can see in the sky. They're called the Magellanic Clouds, and they can be seen from anywhere in the southern hemisphere. So if you went out tonight and looked just, you'd have to be in quite a dark location because they're quite dim. Have a look to the west of the Southern Cross.
Yeah.
And you can see these two sort of, they look like dim clouds. And now everything else you can see in the sky is part of our galaxy, but these two aren't. These are dwarf galaxies which are orbiting our full-size galaxy.
Wow. So
some people think they're orbiting. They could be just sort of being deviated off some other course by our galaxy.
Yeah.
But either way, the effect that our galaxy is having on them is basically all the gravity is ripping them to bits. So when we look at the Magellanic Clouds through telescopes, there's all this stuff going on. There's stars forming and exploding, caused by the sort of pressure waves of the gravity of our full-size galaxy. So then it's been thought that, if these galaxies are being pulled in or deformed at least by our galaxy, could our galaxy have eaten up dwarf galaxies in the past? So this is confirmation of it. There has been other evidence in the past of other areas that this could have been happening, but that's a
pretty significant discovery. from a New Zealander
it's
with
quite a good discovery.
what sort of equipment would they have been using? Not much. It would have been pretty standard.
Just pretty standard telescopes. Yeah, it'd be more about the information gathering. So monitoring heaps of stars and monitoring their speeds and directions, and that's how they can tell. Basically, there's a stream of stars which are going in a different direction from all the other stars around. So you've got all the stars. They've got some kind of average or mean velocity, which is in the direction of orbit around the center of the Milky Way. But when you spot a large stream of stars in the same place, which are going in a different direction, which have different kind of inertia to everything around it, then the obvious conclusion is that they've come from somewhere else. So further discoveries have revealed that it is in fact this little galaxy sort of being merged with our galaxy.
Well, it's very, very cool. What is going on at the Auckland Stardome Observatory this week?
So, 7 o'clock show this month is called We Are Astronomers.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good show. It's one of my favourites. Got music by a New Zealander. And then the 8 o'clock show is The Sky Tonight. So that's all about what you can see in the sky. So if anyone wants to see those Magellanic Clouds, those dwarf galaxies, find out how by going along to the Stardome at 8 o'clock and letting the presenter take you through a tour of the night sky. Weather seems to be clearing up again, so telescopes are definitely on the cards after the 8 o'clock show. The telescope operator out there might even show you the Magellanic Clouds. Not that there's much to see through a small telescope, but you can see the sort of the cloudy nebulosity stuff.
Cool. And it looks like it's going to be a possibly mostly a fine weekend for that kind of activity. Well, thanks very much, Dylan.
Yes, thank you, Emmo.
Dylan Storey. You can hang out with Dylan whenever you want on Twitter, twitter.com/Dylan Storey.